Yesterday, I just given an overview of what we are going to learn here. In Yes, so I given an overview of what the concepts we are going to discuss. Right? Yeah. Today we will see an overview of about what is UI technologies, where we generally use them, and what are the various concepts that you need to understand in UI technologies and why we need them. We will see that. Actually, our main concentration of so we are learning UI technologies for two major types of applications: web applications, web applications, and distributed applications. So the UI technologies, the main concentration, all we practice is for web applications and distributed applications. And what you learn in web technology, UI technologies for web and distributed will also help you for technically mobile applications also. So UI technologies for web applications, distributed applications, and mobile. This is the main concept. Already I told you we can use for artificial intelligence, 2D, 3D gaming applications, right? But practicing, we design everything. When we are practicing UI technologies, we will learn UI technologies for these three major: web, distributed, and mobile, right? But this UI will help you in others also, but they require more advanced and other options like 2D, 3D gaming, artificial intelligence, IoT. They require some more additional things to learn separately actually. User interface, that means you are going to practically test and design user interface for web, distributed, and mobile applications. So that means whatever we design here, they will be mainly concentrated for web, distributed, and mobile application. Yesterday I showed you, yesterday we discussed a difference between them: web, distributed, and mobile. Now first you have to understand how these applications actually work. Once you understand how these applications work, then you can understand what you need for these applications, So today we are going to discuss about web application architecture. So we are going to discuss about a simple web application architecture so that you can understand how the applications work, how the web applications work. So we are going to discuss about the basic web application architecture in order to get a clarity what is UI and where it will correctly fit. For that, we need to understand the basic web application architecture. So majority of UI that you are learning is for building web applications and distributed. Optionally, you can use for mobile also. So how web application works? What is the basic architecture of web application? Let's see the basic architecture of web application. I'm giving a simple high level architecture. I'm giving a simple high level architecture. Later, once you start learning about web, you will understand the complete architecture. I'm just giving a basic high level architecture first. Let's see. Actually, how this entire architecture of web works, basic overview. Generally, we have a client. So usually we have a client. So this is the client or user, the client or user, right? We usually have a web server. We usually have a web server. What are those roles? I will explain. We usually have a web server. We have generally we also have a middleware. We have a middleware. Usually have a middleware, right? And we have an application server. We usually have an application server. Application server. So we have an application server. Okay. And we also have a database server. Usually database server. Right. Now technically, how the entire process actually works, what they are, and how the entire process actually works. Actually, the database server, this is the database server. Database server is the location. This is the location where our data is maintained. That means this is the location where our data is maintained. Usually, database servers use some softwares for maintaining the data. That means like Oracle, like MySQL, like SQL Server, am I right? Like MongoDB. These are all the various databases. The data required for application, usually the data required for application is maintained in database server. So usually whatever data we need for, it will be defined there, right? I am audible to everyone, am I right? So is there any problem in the voice? Clear, na? Right. So yeah, right. Fine. Let's continue this, right? Okay. Fine. Let's continue this. Now, usually these are data servers where all the data is maintained. Technically, data servers are very huge. I think, see, generally server means in the diagram, we will show you in boxes side by side. But technically, a database server means it's a very huge server. Server is like a farm. Server is like a farm. So a huge farm, server farms will be there, network. Very huge. For example, I will show you. If you have seen, you can observe on YouTube. Suppose I'm using YouTube. Here, you can see Google. On YouTube, we have Google data centers. We have Google data centers, Google data center, data center. You can see these are the Google data centers. These are the Google data centers. Observe here, this is the Google data center. I hope everyone can see that. You can see, so this is the Google data center. A data center usually looks like this. This is the data center. You can see that entire building. So that entire building is server. That is the data center actually. So now you can imagine how server looks like. This is the server. This is not Google Office. It is Google server. It is the data server. The servers are very huge. You can see this is huge server. We generally call as server farms. So this is inside the server. Inside the server. This is inside the server. So it's a very huge. It's a very huge one. It's very huge. So this is the huge data server. Usually servers look like this. Actually, servers looks like this. I hope everyone saw that. That means it's not like just a small computer. Servers are very huge. So we have database servers means they will be like that. You can see Google data centers, Facebook data centers, very huge. Data is maintained inside them. Inside them. Now we need some softwares to create tables, relations, and to maintain our data in those servers. Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, like things we use to store data, to manage data in our applications, in the server. So application related, all the data is in database servers. Database servers. And our application is present in application server. Our application is present in this application server. Usually, application comprises of, this is application. Usually, application comprises of three important layers. So it comprises of three important layers, like it will have a UI layer. It will have a UI layer. It will have a business layer. So it will have a business layer. So we have a business layer. Business layer. We have a file system. So we have a file system. That means the repository of all the files that are needed for application. We have a file system. File system. I'm just giving you a small overview, not internal architecture, that you will later understand once you start working with it. Generally, this entire application on application server, that means application is present on application server. It is present on application server. And this application on application server is usually maintained by softwares, is usually maintained by several software tools. Like we use server-side technologies like JSP, like PHP, like ASP.NET, right? So like Node.js, all these are used, like Python, all these are used for maintaining your application server side. That means how the process works, I will show you, right? So this application contains an user interface. This application contains a business layer that contains the logic which can communicate with the database, get the data from the database. It can get the data from the database. If necessary, it will pick up the files from the file system. And UI will handle communication by sending the data to business and accessing it from the business layer. All this is done. Means internally lot of communication will be there. That means this is entirely maintained by using JSP, PHP, ASP.NET, Node.js, Python. All these are used for application. So application is present in application server. Database is present in database server. Middleware is actually a software. It is not a computer. Middleware is actually a software. Middleware is a software. This middleware software is responsible for handling communication between the web server and application server. That means whatever happens in application, it is not understandable to directly client. Whatever comes from the client is not directly understandable to application. The communication in network-based applications is managed by using a special software called middleware. Middleware softwares, so many middleware softwares are present. Like we have Express. Express is a middleware. We have like JSX is a middleware. Oracle have its middlewares. So Cisco have its middlewares. So many. So Microsoft have its own middlewares. So middleware softwares are responsible for handling the communication. So that means generally what happens is the client request, actually client is using browsers. Client is using a browser like Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Edge browsers. Client will make a request. That request will be first processed by the web server. Technically, these web servers are so many, like you might have heard about Tomcat, you heard about IIS, Internet Information Services, we have JBoss. So many web servers are present. Most popular few are these. Now, this is responsible for, web server is responsible for identifying the requests like get, like post, like put, like delete, all these. That means it identifies what the client is requesting. And it will process the request, which will go to the middleware. Middleware so translates into the understandable of application. Application will process that, and if necessary, it will communicate with the database, gets the data. And again, from application, the response comes to the middleware. From middleware, it will go back to the web server, and web server will send a response back to the client. So that means client makes a request, and the web server will make a response, send a response, and in the background, all this happens. And very important is to present the information to create an user interface from where user can interact with the application. Our UI technologies, our UI technologies are used here. Our UI technologies are used here. Our UI technologies are used here. That means your UI technologies are used here. Your UI technologies are used here. That means client side. So whatever the interface user needs to interact with our application that we design here. Now tell me, by learning UI technologies, can you build a complete end-to-end application? Everyone understood this point? So everyone understood this architecture, basic level architecture, everyone understood this. By learning UI technologies, can we build an end-to-end application? So we cannot build an end-to-end application. We cannot build an end-to-end application. I hope by watching this architecture, you at least understood that a web or distributed applications, their development is not so simple. I'm not saying hard, I'm saying complex. It requires a lot of things. Am I right? Huh? Right? You cannot build a complete end-to-end application by just learning UI technologies. So, but UI technologies is required for everyone who is learning the technologies like server side, Java, .NET, PHP, Python, everyone. Because without user interface, they cannot create a proper interface for interacting with their application. So for Java, for .NET, for PHP, for Node.js, for everyone, UI technologies is required. Am I right? Right? For everyone, they need UI, user interface. Right? Now you cannot build an end-to-end application. You cannot build an end-to-end application. Now the point is here, generally, you cannot build a complete end-to-end application. To build a complete end-to-end application, you need a combination of all this. Combination of all this. So many things we need. So many things we need. Right? So technically, once you understood this architecture, so generally, I will give you this architecture, and in an online link, you can get it from there, right? So I will tell you about that at the end. So I will give you that. Huh? Technically, the point here is when we are dealing with end-to-end application, that means first question is, what are the basic requirements for building an end-to-end application for web? What are the basic requirements for building an end-to-end application? Generally, for that, number one, we need HTML, we need CSS, we need a client-side script, we need a server-side scripting. So we need database, we need middleware. So we need even content management systems like IDs. We need IDs, integrated development environment. Integrated development environment. You need publishing tools. publishing tools. So much is required. You need a combination of all these. And in the UI technologies, you are going to learn HTML, CSS, client-side scripting. You are going to learn IDEs. You are going to learn some publishing tools, how to use few publishing tools. What are those? I will tell you. So publishing tools and all. But we are not into server-side scripting, database, middleware like concepts. So we are purely engaged in creating user interface. We are not into server-side database and middleware. So that is generally people call as full stack. Am I right? People call as full stack. Full stack means they will learn everything. That means client side, server side, database, middleware, IDs, and all. But the problem is usually if anyone says that we will give you a knowledge of full stack and you will learn a full stack, then can you tell me in how many days you can finish that full stack learning of full stack? Learning of full stack, right? For example, how much time you may take to complete this complete full stack, right? Generally, you see, we will just get courses like full stack UI development. Am I right? So usually people think that in 2-3 months a full stack you can learn. Full stack you can learn, right? Because some courses people design and show you and say that so you will learn a full stack. Am I right? Huh? You see 3 months, 4 months, they will say full stack. Am I right? 3 months, 4 months, a full stack. I think many of you have seen such courses, no? 2-3 months, a full stack developer, right? What do you think? Is it possible that you can finish a full stack in just 2-3 months? That means you will learn a server side technology, database, middleware, everything. That means it's very difficult, not possible at all, right? That means the point is if you already belong to Java, .NET, PHP, Python, and you are learning those technologies, now you learn UI also additionally, then you can be called as a full stack developer. Am I right? Huh? Because in Java, .NET, PHP, Python, you will learn databases, middlewares, they will teach you. Am I right? JSP, PHP, am I right? Huh? You are going to learn about them. Then you are a Java learner, you are a .NET learner, you are a PHP learner, you are a Python learner, you are a Node.js learner, and you came here for UI technologies. That's great. That means by the end, you will be called as a full stack developer. Java full stack developer, .NET full stack developer, like that. But many people, they don't know any technology and they want to start their career and directly they think that we will start with learning full stack. So that means they are starting with HTML, CSS, and they want to learn a full stack also. And in such case, I will not much recommend that full stack. Understood? I will not much recommend that full stack. Why? Because suppose if anybody says that in 3-4 months, I will teach you a full stack. You will learn a full stack in 3-4 months. But when you go to companies, and the companies in interviews, they ask like, what server side technology you learned? And you say, I learned Node.js in my full stack course, right? And if he asks that, are you sure you can completely handle Node.js as a server side technology? Because it is a very big concept. Am I right? Server side technologies are very huge now. Server side technologies are huge. Databases are very huge. What do you think? You can learn a database in 10-15 days? Huh? Is it possible? Huh? Right? To handle a database for real-time applications, real-time projects, is it possible that 15 days of your knowledge on database is enough to work for a real-time projects? 20 days of your Node.js knowledge is enough for working for real-time projects? Are you sure? It's not enough. Then better avoid. Better if you are starting your career now start with and learning UI technologies and stop here. You learn advanced concepts in UI technologies. You have good opportunities. Don't waste time in going into full stack now. But if you already belong to Java, .NET, PHP and other technologies, then better learn this UI technologies. It will be an add-on for you. Not an add-on, these days very much mandatory for those people also. Understood? Am I right? But Mr. some Anwar Ali or someone you say here, what do you think? Your ASP is understandable to browser? Your ASP is understandable to browser? Have you learned in ASP that ASP understandable to browser? Any server side technology, whatever you do is not understandable to browser. Browser can understand only HTML. Na? Am I right? That means now a Java developer and a .NET developer or a PHP developer, after learning such huge things, and they come and say like, I know Java, but I don't know HTML. It's like just you cracked a biggest joke. Seriously. What do you think? Am I right? Huh? You know Java, .NET like technologies, and you are not good in HTML, CSS, and you call yourself as a Java developer. It's like silly thing. Right? That means the point is, so you can become a full stack developer if you already have those knowledge. So here we are going to learn complete UI technologies. That means UI side, whatever is required for us. We are not into server side database middlewares like concepts, right? Now, if you learn them, then it is called full stack. Generally people say, have you heard like full stack? People say like mean stack. Have you listened to that, right? Mean stack, MERN stack. Have you seen a mean stack, MERN stack like that? Have you heard about them? Have you heard about them? Full stack, mean stack, MERN stack. Actually, these are nothing but technically mean. M means Mongo DB. It is database. Understood? E means express. Express means middleware. Understood? It is middleware. And A means Angular. Or instead of A, people can learn R, which is React. Understood? And N means Node.js. That is what actually means stack or MERN stack. Instead of Node.js, people can learn Java, .NET, PHP, Python as server-side JSPs, right? And the client-side middlewares, they have their own middlewares, they have their own databases. And the client side, we need all this. Client side, we need all this. Means for everyone, UI technologies is common. UI technologies is common. These are the basic things that you need. And that is what we are going to learn here. That is what we are going to understand here actually. That means our part is only client side. Client side. We are not going to deal with any middlewares, server side technologies, database, but they will be helpful for them. Means any person who are dealing with server side technologies and learning them, he needs knowledge of UI. If you have only knowledge of UI, that's also enough. You will fit into any type of project. Java projects needs UI developers. PHP projects needs UI developers. Am I right? Huh? That means a special role is given for UI people. And you have a lot of opportunities on UI now. That's the reason UI is easy and good for a beginner these days. And many people think that UI technologies they give good packages with UI technologies. If you learn UI technologies and have good knowledge of advanced like Angular or React like things, then you have a good demand in the market. Huge packages are there for them. You can go into Naukri and see UI technologies. So these days, starting package 2 lakh, 3 lakh, they are giving for even freshers also. You might have seen that starting basically for UI technologies. So last session, our people have conducted interviews. Still some companies are there who are asking for UI, means vacancies for placements actually. So the placements, you can see. So this is a company, and they just finished this month only. We conducted this recruitment drive. UI with Angular, package 1.8 to 2.5 lakh per annum, and any graduate with computer science background, no bond, right? This is one company that came recently this month. Another company, UI Technologies. This is 2 years bond, 1.5 to 2, right? Year of passed outs. So 2017, 18, 19, 20. And UI Technologies. And another one, UI with Angular. They need with the 2 years bond, Hyderabad location. That means the starting package for UI people you can expect, if you have good advanced skills also, then the starting package you can expect for a fresher. Anyone, you have seen some, they say that they need any graduate, understood? So some companies say that, see 2018, 19, 20 passed outs, and they are not asking for any computer science background. Am I right? Huh? Have you seen that? This company, right? Is it asking any branch or anything, right? Just graduate. You need just graduate. So because UI people will fit into anything, right? That means we have a lot of opportunities. And very important is, this is not only just for computer science people. So anyone with the basic, because see, companies will ask for basic minimum graduation, right? They can't take 10th pass, inter pass people to companies, na? Right? Minimum graduate. And minimum graduate through any medium, so is eligible as a UI developer for software companies. Even sometimes you can find in very large MNCs also, they ask just any graduate for UI technologies. Because UI technologies, anybody can learn. It doesn't require much technical knowledge in detail, right? You saw that. So when opportunities comes, you will see, because everyone may ask different percentages, right? Yeah. MNCs means they will ask minimum 70%, 65% throughout the career, right? Fine. The point is, So you understood where we are going to stand in the complete development process. And nobody can give you an false assurance that after learning UI technologies, you can build complete end-to-end application. So is it right? Is it right that if anybody says to you that learn UI technologies, we can build complete end-to-end application? It's not possible, right? We can build a complete end-to-end UI for any kind of backend application. Understood? Right? We can build a complete UI for any kind of backend application. So these are the basic requirements. Now, what we are going to learn in this, I will tell you. We will discuss about that. Now, can you tell me what is the role of HTML? What is the role of HTML? Can you tell what is the role of HTML? What is the role of HTML? Do you have any idea? What is the role of HTML? Technically, what is the purpose of HTML? Do you have any idea about that? Yeah, in simple point, you can say that HTML is used for presentation. It is a presentation language. That means it is a presentation language. Markup means presentation. It is a language used for presenting information. Am I right? Detailedly, you will learn about HTML, what is HTML and all later, right? I'm giving just overview. HTML is used for presentation. Anything is presented to client through which language? HTML. In web technologies, right? We present through HTML. CSS make the presentation more interactive and more responsive also. Am I right? So HTML presents and CSS cascade style sheets. It makes the presentation more interactive and responsive. HTML presents and CSS makes it more interactive and responsive. These days, CSS is more growing, advanced. It can even handle a lot of interactions without much scripting also. You will learn about that. You will understand about that. So HTML, CSS, client-side script. What is the purpose of client-side script? Can you tell me what is the purpose of client-side script? Client-side script, the main purpose is nothing but it is used to reduce burden on server. The main purpose of client-side script is to reduce burden on server by managing interactions client-side. Am I right? That means it will not handle everything server side. It will manage interactions client side. It will manage the interactions client side. So we can use JavaScript for client side script, right? It reduces the burden on server. So we can use TypeScript as client side script. So these are client side scripts. Server side scripting, already I told you. Server side scripting like ASP, JSP, PHP. What is the purpose of server side script? Detailedly, I will tell what is client side and all when we start working with them. I'm just giving an overview. So what is server side scripting? It is responsible for generating a response for the request. Whatever client request is there, for the request, it will generate a response and sends the response back to the client, right? And the databases are responsible for storing the data required for application like Oracle, like MySQL, managing the data for your application like MongoDB, right? All these database. Middlewares, I told you. So it is used for handling communication. This is all I explained. I'm just giving you points here. IDEs, usually IDE provides an environment from where you can build application. That means they are responsible for building, debugging, testing, and deploying applications. That means one platform from where you can do everything as a developer. You can build application, you can debug application, you can test application, and you can deploy, make it ready to use. You know, like you use like Eclipse, Am I right? You use like Visual Studio, you use like WebStorm, you use like Dreamweaver, etc. So many are present. This all comes under the category of IDEs. And publishing tools, you need a lot of publishing tools. What are the publishing tools? For example, you need like Photoshop, you need like Flash, like CorelDRAW, Illustrator, so many are there. These are all publishing tools. So technically, publishing tools are also very important. For example, suppose see, I opened a website like Amazon.in. This is an Amazon shopping site. When you open this Amazon shopping site, you can see in this Amazon shopping site, you can see a lot of banners are present. Now, how do you think who prepared these banners? Who designed these banners? Can you design such banners and advertisements, ads, screens with just your HTML knowledge? Can you build like these banners with just HTML knowledge? Is it possible to do that? So that is not. Generally, these are done by using professional photo editing softwares like Photoshop. Do you know it? Right? We do this by using professional softwares, right? And in UI technologies, these days, you must able to handle such things also. That's the reason I will give an overview of how to use Photoshop and Flash like softwares in this session, so that you can even design your own advertisements and banners. I'm not teaching you complete Photoshop and Flash. I will teach you a basic what we need for designing our banners by our own. Usually there will be a specialist in this who will design these banners and give to us. As a developer, what we do, we upload it and keep it in that location and use it. These days, in small scale companies, usually in small scale companies, what happens is, so when you are building application, you don't have specialized people for that. Such advertisements, banners, also you have to design as a UI developer sometimes. So then you need to have minimum basic knowledge of how to create such banners, how to create such advertisements and give it to our developers. And we upload them and use them in the application. Logos and everything we need to design. That means it's not like just writing the code. UI development is very complex. One of the biggest headache for UI people is the client who wants a software from us. He will not touch Java people, .NET people, server side people, because he don't know anything about them. But when you are designing a website, even he don't know anything about technology, he will be giving you suggestions like, no, I don't want this color. I want this another color. No, I don't want advertisement here. I want advertisement here. He will not talk with any Java developer, .NET developer in our company about the technical points. But UI developer, one of the big headache is the client is in continuous touch with us. The client is asking, right? No, I want photo here. I want photo this color. I want photo to rotate. I want it to zoom in and zoom out. He will have a lot of queries. You have to satisfy everything. I hope you understood. That means our UI developers' responsibility. We have a lot of risk with clients because client gives a lot of suggestions in the UI because he can see how it is coming. He cannot give any suggestion to Java, .NET developers in our project, right? He will give suggestions to UI developers. He wants like that, and you need to design like that. That is the point where you need to satisfy the client by achieving what he's looking for exactly. You need to make the presentation simple, attractive, and you cannot simply depend on just coding. You have to do a lot of designing. That's the reason our UI developers need to be perfect in uh, tools like HTML, CSS for designing, and also publishing tools like Photoshop, Flash like softwares, so that they can design some animations and banners by themselves. So what you are going to learn in this UI technologies. So UI technologies, you are going to learn HTML, you are going to learn CSS. In the CSS part, you learn Bootstrap and everything, right? Whatever. And client side scripting, you will learn about that. And few client side, our main client side script is JavaScript. JavaScript, jQuery, AngularJS basic introduction I will give to you. JavaScript and jQuery we are going to learn completely here. TypeScript we are not dealing here. I will give an introduction because TypeScript is in Angular, right? And server side scripting we are not going to deal. Database we are not going to deal. Middleware we are not going to deal. We are going to use IDs. So if I show you on few IDs, others also you can use in a similar way. So for building, debugging, and we will learn publishing tools like Photoshop and Flash. So I will show you how to use Photoshop and Flash, just basic overview to design. So with that, we can build a front end for any type of backend. Understood? Huh? For Java, .NET, or any kind of backend, we can build a front end. So these are the things we are going to discuss. So what we are not going to touch here, server side, database, and middleware. Hope everyone is clear, right? So that is what I said. We are learning CSS, HTML means Bootstrap, jQuery, everything will come in that concept only. Yesterday I already told you. You are learning JavaScript, jQuery, and CSS means whatever is there in that, we are going to learn about that. So every topic in that will be covered. Okay, right? So now first in this, we need to start with, in this complete approach, we need to start with HTML. So what is HTML? How HTML works? Everything we need to learn, right? Are Mr. Nilesh, if I am teaching you JavaScript jQuery means JavaScript jQuery have Ajax means you will learn Ajax. I don't know why you people ask such questions. All right. I am teaching you jQuery JavaScript. Whatever is there in jQuery JavaScript, we will learn. Right? Don't ask any like, will you teach Ajax? Will you teach functions? Will you teach variables? Will you teach for loop? That's like silly thing. You are learning a language means you are learning everything in that language. Okay. Right. Right. So you are going to learn all of them. So no need to worry about that. Okay. Right. And if you still have any doubt, then you can get our catalog. So we have our catalog. Our admin will send you the catalog, which contains all the contents that we are going to learn. And you can ping him. He will send you the catalog. In that, all the details are present. Okay. All the details are present. Fine. Right. Right. Everything is present there. Yes, daily 1 hour class will be there. Okay. Hope you are clear with today's concept. Then from tomorrow, we are going to start with HTML. Okay. We will start working with HTML. Tomorrow, we are going to start with HTML. Directly, we go into the concept, right? Right. Yeah, all the details, other related to course related details, our admin will tell you about that. Our admin will tell you about that, right? And you can reach our admin on this number. I will give you a number. You can reach our admin on that number. Right. So you can reach everything he will tell. Ramesh. Right. I just told, if you learn Angular and UI, you will be called as a UI developer. Full stack developer means who? So clearly I explained just now. Full stack developer means who knows database, server side technology, middleware, right? I don't know what you are concentrating in the class. Right. All the class was about understanding full stack developer and UI developer. And finally, you came with a question, by learning UI technologies, can I be called as full stack developer, right? Right. Right. What I will do is all these notes, whatever we discuss, I will upload in a online repository that I will give you tomorrow. Okay. I will give you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will give you an online repository, because these demos 1 2 days people will come and go, right? And from tomorrow we will start HTML, and every topic related concept I will be uploading into the GitHub, and I will give you a link tomorrow so that all the notes will be with you. Okay, no problem. Yeah, you talk rest of any concept with that admin guy, right? He will take care about them. Okay, thank you.